this phrase, Poppy Cooks, the actually delicious slow cooker cookbook. And here we have the phrase, step up your slow.
Come on.
Over to you, Vassos.
You'll know our next guest from your telly, from your TikTok, and from your 15-hour potatoes. She's the cooking sensation with over 5 million followers, whose third book, the actually delicious Slow Cooker Cookbook, is out this Thursday. So please welcome the one they all try to copy. It's Poppy Cooks O'Toole.
Here we go. Woo. She's in the house, live and direct, the Potato Queen. Control round of applause from the class behind the glass. Poppy, they love you. We love you.
Wow.
You got rock star status here.
Thank you.
My goodness me. How are you?
I'm really good, thank you. How are you?
Great. Love this book. Step up your slow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Come on,
It's
just
time
get
to
a bit
go.
close to that microphone if you don't mind, Poppy.
Sorry, I'm not used to radio.
Tell us your story, because it's a good story before you get into the book.
Okay, I can go about that, no worries. So I used to be a chef. I was a chef for about 10 years or so, working in Michelin-starred restaurants, working in London, all that jazz. And then because of COVID, I lost my job. So purely a little bit out of boredom, a little bit out of wanting to impress my little brother and sister, I started doing TikToks, and that was it. And we just did some recipe videos, and people started to enjoy them, and the ball just started rolling from there. And I kind of was like, ooh, this could be a career, maybe? I don't know. I just kept saying yes to everything, and eventually we got to here. So
Good for you.
It's been really amazing and really quick.
We know that TikTok and social media generally eat content, but you produce content that we can eat.
I'm going to steal that.
Go ahead, my friend. What was the first video that you posted on TikTok that went crazy?
It was potatoes. So I did crispy cubes of potato. So really, it's that's as simple as it was. I actually made it.
I'm gonna have to leave because I love potatoes.
Do you? Oh, okay. Well, we can talk about this all day, but we will have to get to slow cook at some point. But I did crispy cubes of potato, and I did it for my fiance. And I just made dinner, and he went, "You need to video that." And I was like, "Oh, I've just made dinner. I don't want to make it again." And I went, "You know what? Yeah, yes, fine." And it was the first video that had 1 million views, and I was like, people love a spud, so I just started making more.
They do. And so did you sort of, after that viral hit, did you sit back and did you plan a narrative of videos, or was it a bit hit and miss, or just all hands on deck, let's just get some content out there and see what happens?
It was after that I was like, next week I'm going to do another potato recipe just in case. But I was doing a series at the time of like what a chef eats in a day, and I was doing all these different recipes, but I was like, let's do another potato one. And then that did really well, and then we were going back into a lockdown in the November of 2020, and I was like, I've got 25 days where I know everybody is going to be at home. I'm going to do 25 days potatoes. So it was a bit of marketing sort of manipulation, but I just went back through all the recipes that I've ever made in restaurants.
Did you call it 25 days of potatoes?
Yeah, 25 days of potatoes. So now every year I do a Christmas one, so I do a 12 days of Christmas potatoes, because I can't quite do 25 every time.
Do you advent calendar of potatoes?
I do an advent calendar of potatoes, yeah.
Do that as well?
Well, it's just 12 days.
Do 12.
But
oh my gosh. I mean, I know we've got to talk about your book. Just let's talk about potatoes a bit more.
Yes, I can talk about potatoes all day.
There are potato recipes in the past, because I am obsessed with potatoes. I love potatoes. But there were potato recipes, and there have been in the past, when I've been cooking for myself before I met Tash, who now cooks all the time, because she's so good at cooking. And she loves it as well. She batch cooks for the kids and all this kind of stuff. And there are potato recipes that I have lost in my head, and I can't remember them, like lyrics to songs or phone numbers of people that you want to get back in touch with.
Yeah, go on then. You're going to put me on the spot for some
No, I
recipes.
don't know. I'm actually, this is there's not even a question here. I'm not, It's not even a test.
It's just how much you love potato recipes.
And there are some, like my mum made this Lancashire hot pot once. Which she made a lot anyway, but one year she made it with a layer of potatoes, and I'll never forget the taste of those potatoes, because they were sort of lamb infused, and they were crispy, and they were soft, and they were wafer thin. Sorry, I'm just talking about potatoes.
But that's
now.
one of my favourite things, when you get that infusion of like because I love a Lancashire hot pot as well, but that fat from the lamb, and lamb's got one of the most delicious flavours because it just soaks and the potato absorbs it, and then you get that lovely crispy top.
Lamb is my favourite meat by a country mile. You've got a whole lamb section in your book.
Absolutely.
I had to put the book down because I thought I might start eating the book. And we've said that before about books. I mean, this page looks good enough to eat, which is true. But with your book, I literally had to put it down and go and get a bag of crisps or something. I thought, I'm going to start eating anything that's nearby.
anything.
So let's go to Poppy Cooks, the actually delicious slow cooker cookbook. It's the one we've all been waiting for.
Yes, absolutely.
Before we actually get into the various recipes and things like that, slow cooker wise, obviously we're going to need to buy one or borrow one or inherit one. Any tips on which slow cooker to buy?
I quite like the ceramic bowl ones instead of the metal bowl ones, because it means then some of the recipes that I developed is that you actually can put it into the oven after to get the crispy top or something, you know. So I like to use the ceramic ones because they're oven safe as well, and also they just feel, I don't know, heftier and nicer. I don't know, it's a bit posh, ain't it, with a ceramic?
Yeah, and also they're going to last forever, aren't they?
Yes, absolutely.
And there's the thing that they do in France, isn't it, which is called the everlasting stew. Do you know that?
No. Oh yeah, when they keep putting stuff into it. Yeah,
some of them are like 35, 50 years old.
They're so good for you as well.
And
like it's so good for you.
And people don't believe me when I say this, but it's the same stew in the same pan,
stew.
never been washed for 50 years. All true?
All true.
All true.
And they do it in some Asian cultures as well. There's a soup that is constantly going, and it's meant to be incredible.
It's something, isn't it? It's like an everlasting soup, but it's better than that. So are there any basic rules to slow cooking, again, before we get any ingredients out?
Not really. I haven't come across any just yet. I would say you can test out your slow cooker by putting water in it and, you know, put it on low or high, and you can get the temperature, so you kind of can see how long it takes to get to a certain temperature, because, you know, if you've got one that's been in the back of the cupboard for 10 years, it might not be as quick or as hefty as a brand new one.
Do you have a deal with this slow cooker company?
No, I don't yet, but if anyone's interested...
Well, I find that extraordinary. I thought you'd have chosen not to then, to say impartial, because that is a double-edged sword. But I can't believe that nobody's approached you.
Well, we'll see how the book goes. Someone might approach me after.
No, I can't believe they're not already. They've approached me. I've been approached about slow cookers. Yeah, and blenders and all.
Oh, lovely.
And it's not really what
Amazing.
I do.
It can be. Write a book.
Yeah. So can we just focus in on the lamb for us?
Absolutely.
Okay. Harissa lamb tagine, roast lamb with potatoes, lamb ragu. I'm going to go for classic roast lamb, not drying it out. How long are we going for? What's the best cut? Blah, blah, blah.
Well, to be honest, I'll have to look at the recipe myself, because I can't remember everything off the top of my head. So I like to use like a bone-in is good for the slow cooker, because then you can keep the moisture in as well, which is really good. Or if you're going to do something like pulled, then you just do diced and no bone. It's fine. You can just throw it in.
I've never made pulled anything.
Oh my goodness, you need to start pulling everything.
I mean, I've had it loads of times, but I've never made it.
It's so easy.
Is it just very slow, very low?
Very slow, very low, and then it just falls apart, and it's just it's so much fun, because I quite like getting my hands dirty and getting into it. So you can get your gloves on once it's cooled down a little bit and start pulling it, or you'll use your forks.
Haven't you taken one particular pulled pork recipe out for a night on the town?
Oh yes.
Haven't you added some alcohol to?
Absolutely.
Which one are we talking about?
It's Jack Daniel's pork.
Jack Daniel's pork.
I love it. It's so good.
It's in the book.
Yeah, it's in the book.
It's in the book.
It is pulled pork, which is in a Jack Daniel's sauce.
Right. Okay. Hang on a minute. Pause. How did this happen?
Well, I just love adding sugary, flavoury deliciousness to everything. So it's more because I do love a TGI Fridays, and they do a glaze of pulled pork, a glaze of Jack Daniel's, sorry. So I was like, how can I get that? It's one of my favourite things. Into the slow cooker, so develop that dish.
Right, and now I'm alcohol-free nowadays, hard to believe, but I promise you it's true. You know, you hear this, well, we're going to burn all the alcohol off. Can I still have that then or not?
Not really. No, but it doesn't taste of alcohol. It's just in there for kind of like the stickiness that it brings and the kind of flavour, but it doesn't taste of alcohol. But it doesn't, unfortunately, it doesn't get hot enough to burn off the alcohol, which is a shame. So, but it can be replaced a bit more like a cider vinegar in there.
It can be, but is it worth it?
Absolutely.
Sticking with the booze theme, Vassos.
Yeah, I love the fact that you're putting brandy in your mushroom soup.
You guys are exposing me.
Come on, Poppy.
Yeah, bit of brandini mushroom soup, delicious. Again, adds a little bit of fieriness to it, but again, it can be taken out. It's only little. These bits of alcohol are only little bits in there, just to add a little bit of extra pizzazz.
By the way, mushrooms. Let's hear it. Can we control a round of applause, please, for mushrooms. Come on. How great are mushrooms?
I love
how
mushrooms.
Great are mushrooms.
Mushrooms are it.
Mushrooms are the best.
So you don't really need meat in your life. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love lamb, but I love all meat, to be honest. But mushrooms, they're not far off, are they?
Oh no, they're incredible.
They're so meaty.
I had some oyster mushrooms that were kind of like crispy fried. That they're all breaded and all that sort of stuff. And I was like, this is the best thing I've ever had. It was delicious, and mushrooms are incredible. You can do so much with them.
Can I just say how non-veggie your veggie chili looks? It looks great.
I know.
Look at that.
It is. It's a proper like. It looks like proper chili, and it doesn't look like
it. Looks amazing.
But yeah, there's a whole big veggie section in there.
Veggie bolognese looks pretty convincing as well, doesn't it? Because it is a lot. I mean, a lot of people who've given up meat still miss it. And Tash, she's plant-based, but we were having chicken at the weekend. She said, I'm so close to having some chickens. She's so close to having fish. I say, you all say that. But if you can get your veggie bolognese to look a bit more like bolognese,
absolutely,
it does help the experience.
It does, and it tastes like it as well, so that's always good.
All right.
But definitely wanted to kind of bring in some more veggie options, because I feel a lot of my content and recipes are quite fat and meat heavy, which is it's very on brand for me. So I really wanted to push myself and do some really delicious veggie ones.
Can I just say that whoever took these photographs?
Liz and Max are incredible.
Who are they?
Liz and Max. They're a couple.
Look at the back to the Jack Daniel's pork burger. Look at that. It does look like something out of.
It's filthy.
What's that movie?
Oh, Alien.
No. Oppenheimer. It looks like something's just exploded, doesn't it?
Oh, thank you.
I think so. Something you can eat.
Something you can eat, yeah.
Okay, moving on. Not a fan of that. Not a fan of that. Comparison. All right, lamb ragu. We've been there. Buffalo chicken.
There's plenty of stuff in it, and also there's a little potato chapter as well. So I did some potatoes. I'm gutted about.
Of course there is.
I'm hearing about the dauphinoise taking a bit too long.
Yeah, well, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It wasn't your. Nothing wrong with your recipe, but I do think we need to get Jane a new slow cooker.
Yeah, we'll get one sent over. That's it.
From a company that.
From a company, if we can get whoever contacted Chris about a slow cooker, can you get it sent over to Jane?
Our friends at Cuisinart. Cuisinart, Cuisinart want to be all over this show. Yeah, they want us to do so now. Cuisinart was saying when we have cooks on, chefs on, anybody to do with food, and we have a lot of them, especially between now and Christmas. If we were to do anything in the studio, they said, look, we'll provide all the stuff. You don't even have to mention it's ours, and they'll give the bosses here loads and loads of money for that.
Oh, nice. Lovely.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
It's
all good. Is that happening?
No.
Yeah.
Don't ask me why, because I have no idea. But it's above my pay grade nowadays, let me tell you.
What's your favourite way to eat potatoes? What's your favourite?
Oh, God, here we go. You stop it. I'm trying to talk about the rest of the book.
Well, we've done that now. I'm interested in potatoes.
All right. Look, I can't even answer the question because it's like people say, what's your favourite song? Well, it depends where you are, who are you with, what time of day it is, how old you are, what's your favourite film? Well, where are we watching it? Who are we watching it with? What kind of mood am I in? Are the children in? Are the children out? Will I ever see them again?
There's too many variables.
I mean, if you had to, I suppose the question is, if you could only have one potato again in your life, what would it be? I would have to say mash.
Mash?
I would have to say mash.
You're not going for a fluffy, crispy chip?
Well, hang on a minute. You asked me what my answer was. My answer is mash.
I need why. Go on.
Okay, well, I can't tell you why, but I can tell you beyond why.
Okay.
Right? So the only way I can qualify the answer is I have been known, and quite recently, and many times before, quite recently, and many times in the future, this will happen. I have had a starter course of mash at a very famous restaurant that begins with the letter I and ends in V. Ivy.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
So I will, people go, from hotel, this, that, and the other. I say, have some mash, please.
No.
In fact, give me 2 portions of mash.
That's incredible.
And I will be having more mash with my main course as well.
Oh my God, I think we're kindred spirits. This is
but
unbelievable.
Different kinds of mash. So like chive mash, you can have whatever kind of mash. You
can have so many
all
mashes.
The different mash. Give me 5 mashes now.
Okay, pomme puree.
Pomme puree.
Truffle. Parsley. You can have barbecue.
Can I throw mozzarella in there?
Oh yeah, cheesy
stringy mash.
Oh, stringy cheesy mash.
Who doesn't want stringy mash?
That is actually, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Also, you can do a baked mash as well. So you make your mash. You can put in a bit of bacon, cheese, and then a bit of hot honey on top. Put it in the oven.
Oh! Have you seen that YouTuber, right, who makes an egg mix and then she gets a a stainless steel ladle,
Yeah.
right? And she coats the bottom of the ladle with the mix, and then she puts it in the deep fryer,
Yes.
and it becomes a case.
Oh.
Then what I would do with that is I would put some mozzarella mash in there, I would invert it, and I would carry on heating it in the oven. That's what I would do there. And then I would do the other thing she does, which I would put the mix, the batter, inside the ladle, and then I would steam it. Yeah, and I would do something else. I'd have a mash wrap to go with my mash bake.
Quite incredible. You'll be seeing that video content coming out on my socials pretty soon.
Do you like the ladle thing?
I love it. Yeah, I've seen it before. But so I don't know who it is, but I've seen that. I've seen that technique before.
Don't you love all the Insta hacks?
I love it.
They're great, aren't they?
Yeah, and that's like, obviously coming from a professional background, I'm like, there's so many things you don't learn, and we're being able to see it because it's all over the internet. It's so good.
Have you seen the melon chicken?
No.
So you get a watermelon and you hollow out the watermelon.
Yeah.
You eat the watermelon, you turn it into melon juice, whatever you want.
Yeah.
And then you put a chicken in the watermelon. You put the two halves of the watermelon back together like an Easter egg.
Yeah.
And you steam the chicken in the melon case in the oven. Off the chain!
Come on.
Have you tried it?
Yes, I have.
Is it good?
It's unbelievable.
No way.
Yes.
Does it taste like melony?
No, but it has extra moisture. So the great thing about any kind of meat, especially chicken, I've got to say, is when it's so moist.
Oh,
it's all right. I don't mind dry chicken as long as it's tasty enough. But if you get and this is like super moist.
Yeah.
From the melon case.
Dripping. Oh my goodness.
And then you can take it out to brown it in the end and invert it and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I've never heard of that, but that's amazing.
Give us your three favourite recipes from Poppy Cooks. Great book, by the way. Great book.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I would say it's got to be the Jack Daniel's pork. I'd actually say the roasted tomato soup with the cheesy toasty as well.
Okay, we did Tash's roast tomato soup as a recipe here, right? And it's to this day, out of all the Virgin Radio content, not just my show, all Virgin Radio UK, we have 5 different Virgin Radio stations. Tom Hanks has been in, Arnold Schwarzenegger's been in, all these people have been in, they've gone viral. The thing that's had the biggest number of views out of everything we've ever done, is Tash's roast tomato soup.
It's well deserved. That's why. It must have been blooming
that's
delicious.
just me agreeing with you. That was a long way of me
No.
agreeing.
And then I think in terms of potatoes, it's the confit potatoes. So it's new potatoes in butter in the slow cooker for X amount of hours. I can't remember off the top of my head. And then you cut them in half and then you fry them. So they go like golden, but they've just been cooked in butter for hours. Oh, that Hunter's chicken's really good as well.
Hunter's chicken's just caught my eye.
Hunter's chicken's
Makes
really
you want to be a
good.
hunter.
Or a chicken.
Maybe
not a chicken.
So as far as the different potato recipes in this book are concerned, just give us the posh orange chocolate brioche bread and butter pudding.
That I've now done the recipes on my socials, so people can follow it. It is so good. It's so easy because you don't have to make a custard, if you know what I mean. You just mix the ingredients together, pour it over, and then leave it in the slow cooker.
By the way, you brought in some carrot cake.
Banana
bread.
Banana bread. But I mean, there's some sort of vegetable or fruit in it, so it's all the same. But I agree.
Just have a fear
it
of
isn't
carrot
bread.
cake. Sorry.
It isn't bread.
It's cake.
It's cake.
Of course
but
it
you do
is.
it in a loaf tin, so people
It's
disguise
cake.
it as bread.
And it means you can have it at breakfast without the guilt.
It's such a
Here
lie.
we go. Hang on a second.
Cheers, guys. I'm going in for quite a large mouthful. Apologies.
That's got a depth to it.
Well, it's puddingy because you almost steam it. Sorry,
Well, I just said to you tonight, you've got to have custard on this. Imagine that with custard.
Hot custard would be so good with it.
So that's clearly got chocolate in.
Yeah.
It tastes like it might be a bit treacly as well.
It's got demerara, light, soft brown sugar in it, so it's got quite rich flavours, but it's the 3 hours in the slow cooker with a bit of steam going through it. It's like a puddingy cakiness.
By the way, might be the worst question ever.
Go on.
You got any general thoughts on butter?
I love butter.
So do I. But I mean, come on.
So, I only use salted butter.
Right.
Because that's the way the French made it.
Right.
In my head, so
You've just got to be a bit careful because the salt. If butter burns, it's usually because the salt gets hot, and unsalted butter burns less.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's but I just love salted butter. I have to have a best butter in the house. There's a best butter, and then there's like the spreadable butter.
Yeah, and it's called best butter.
Best
isn't
butter,
it?
yeah. It's got to be
butter.
best butter.
Yeah.
So one's obviously not in a tub. One's like a wedge, not a wedge. What's it called? What's that shape?
Block.
A cube, a block. That's the one. A block of butter and then a spreadable butter. Yeah, and I do have a little butter jar thing.
Do you have a butter knife?
No, I haven't got a butter knife.
If you go to like flea markets or antique markets, you usually get there'll be like 6 butter knives from a granny somewhere that is no more.
That.
And they're no money, and they got those bone handles. Just
They're gorgeous.
Treat yourself to some butter knives because they are so worth it.
So worth it. And I like it, when you get your best butter and then you put like salt in it as well. So more salt. Salt and butter is just my favourite thing. And my grandma used to have her best butter, and she was like, she'd have her butter knives, and it wouldn't be like just like enough butter to cover, it's to coat it. Like she'd have bread and it would be a thick layer of coating.
Of
yeah,
butter.
Absolutely.
Love it. Sarah says, loving the slow cooker chat. I've just put a lovely beef stew in mine for the family arriving later for a lift to the airport. It'll be served with potatoes, of course.
Delicious. We love that, Sarah.
She says, I love Poppy's food. Everything I've tried is scrumptious. Great to hear a black country accent too. Lizzie from Stourbridge.
Is it coming out? Damn.
So go on, one potato with, let's say, a roast lamb. One potato. What are you going to have?
Oh, I think one potato with roast lamb. Well, roast potatoes.
Yeah.
That's one of my roast potatoes is one of my favouriteest ever ways to eat potatoes, and especially if you've got a bit of lamb fat in there.
Signature-wise, I think Jamie's roast potatoes are, because we tried loads of different ones. How do you do yours?
I do mine. So quarter my potatoes if they're big, and then halve them if they're small. Cook them in cold. So you start in cold water. Loads of salt. Yeah. Like it has to taste like the sea, like very salty.
Like the Red Sea, yeah.
Yeah.
Red Sea,
you can float in it.
Red.
So then boil them, bring them to the boil, and then I boil them for about 10 to 15 minutes. So a longer time of boiling, so they're quite soft.
On the dangerous side.
Yeah. So there's danger zone where it becomes mash. Then you tip them into colander, put the colander back into the pan that you just used, and then put a tea towel over it. Put it back onto the hob, the space on the hob, but turn it off, and then let that residual heat steam everything up. And that dries them out, and the drier the better. So I leave them for about another 5 to 10 minutes to get dry. And then there's hot fat in the oven.
Goose fat?
I'm just a vegetable
Don't mind.
oil.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
If it's something special, there will be maybe an animal fat in there. Goose fat, bit of beef fat, bit of duck fat.
Yeah.
And then tip them in. I get the oven to about 220 first.
Right.
Get it super hot, do about 10 minutes of them super, super hot, and then bring the oven down.
Yeah.
So you get that first, like, full-on fire of heat.
Game based.
I'm so passionate about roast potatoes.
That was your game based for the first time. We were in the kitchen. We were about to get screamed at by Chef. And we don't care because we're with Chef. Yes, Chef.
Potatoes.
Yes, Chef.
That oven better be hot.
Chef, yes, Chef. Thank you, Poppy. That's great. All right, Poppy Cooks, the actually delicious slow cooker cookbook. It's out now. You're amazing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Virgin Radio.